Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Blitz and Glamour podcast, and this is our second instalment, and today we're just going to kick it off straight away and go into the weekly news headlines. And the first one is coming out of my hometown, Tennessee, and we've got our man Brian Callahan. What do we think of that, boys?
Didn't know you're from Tennessee.
You learn something new every day.
Oh, you was born and bred.
Yeah, I think it's a good hire. I think obviously he's done well with that Bengals offense over the last couple of years. Whether he can get that offense firing again without Derrick Henry, assuming he'll be without Derrick Henry, is the real question. But we've seen what he did with developing Joe Burrow. So
I was just about to come on to that. The QBs he shaped, obviously Derek Carr, obviously Joe Burrow, and he also made Browning a solid league QB, which shows he has a lot of time for everyone on his roster.
Yeah, definitely.
I think that's important.
Yeah.
Do you reckon he sticks with Levis?
100%.
Or do you reckon there's a chance of looking at elsewhere, trading for a
I mean, we've got the second most cap space behind the Commanders, so you couldn't rule it out. But I think Levis had too good of a little performance to show that he can't make it in the
Mr. Mayor.
What year is Levis in?
Second now.
He's a rookie.
So it wouldn't kill him if they got someone for the meantime. And
yeah.
Then you could just
Well, we've got three quarterbacks at the moment, but I mean Tannehill's pretty washed.
For me, if you're rebuilding, if you used, was it a first? No, he was one of the first picks of the second round, wasn't he last year?
He was, yeah.
But if you're using that high of a draft pick on him, and you've got all this cap space, if you're rebuilding, you might as well get him some experience, and then put the weapons around him, and give him the best chance to succeed, and just see where he goes, and then that will help him develop as well.
I mean, there's a few good wide receivers kind of dipping into free agency, aren't there? So
yeah.
What I would say is Tennessee were very, very weak defensively last season. I think that you're prioritising the offense. I'm always a pragmatist. You've got to work from the back. It just needs to be done. It says a lot when my Giants were one of the only teams to average fewer points in defence. You know, it is something Callahan needs to work out. I think also, obviously his father, Bill, current Browns OC, underestimated how important that familial bond can be in the NFL. That track history of, being born into a bloodline of NFL players and coaches. It gives you that game sense and that knowledge that's just passed on from generations.
I think, I agree. The defense certainly needs some work. I think that was what held them back when you got to the AFC Championship a few years ago. I think your offense was good enough. Obviously, Derrick Henry was basically put the team on his back, but I don't think the defense is good enough, really. I think that's either where you use your high draft picks this year and you use your cap space that you've got to...
First round, we're definitely going to take an O-lineman. I mean, our QB got sacked the most in the league, so I think that's the worst area which needs fixing.
So there's a few holes then on that team by the sounds of it.
But we also obviously lost Kevin Byard for a pack of crisps to the Eagles.
Yeah, very true.
Like a third round pick or something, which is beyond me because he was our top 3 best players. And obviously injuries to Simmons. I mean, he played 12 games this year with an injury, and he missed the last 4. So he clearly wasn't in the right physical set to kind of compete for us throughout the whole season.
Yeah.
Well, who are we to argue with such a great QB as Peyton Manning? He's weighed up last week. Another one tooted by Callahan saying it's a great hire.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Worked with him at Denver.
Okay.
Obviously getting that ring in 2017 against the Panthers.
2016.
All right.
It might have been 2015. I don't know, do you know?
But as I said earlier,
his resume is very impressive.
Yeah, his resume is very impressive. This is his first shot at head coach.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's always a risk going straight from an OC or an assistant.
But he's had 14 years of experience, so you can't really go against that.
And
you can't deny that.
Having someone with that good of a track record coming into a head coach you're a lot better off with someone like that than as a first time head coach than a lot of other people.
I still think next year will be rough because we obviously don't have Henry, so our run game won't be as strong.
Well,
it's a transitional year for sure.
Definitely. I mean, I'd take if I got a 7-10 record, I think that's pretty good.
You can build on that for sure, yeah.
Exactly.
You've got to look at the division as well. Obviously, the AFC South, Jacksonville going to be out for a vengeance after crumbling.
The AFC South now is really competitive, which is really good.
The Texans, obviously, we know, and the Colts.
once Anthony Richardson's back.
Yeah, I think he could be poised for a big year, Richardson, next year.
He just needs to not go head first into every tackle. He just needs to remember to slide, I think, and then they could probably get around 9 wins.
He needs to go to the same classes as Tua to avoid concussions every week.
Yeah,
and then he might be okay.
Avoid those HIAs.
Yeah,
but 1-7 on the road last season. It was the away form that killed him.
Yeah,
it's that really needs to be developed, I think, from Callahan. If there's any key to success in the AFC South next year, better at handling pressure away from home.
I think DeAndre Hopkins started off quite cold for us as well, whether he was just adjusting. And then once Levis came in, after I think it was week 7 he came in.
I mean, and it was bad QB play to start off with as well. So that would have brought his stats down for sure. And
Definitely.
then when Levis started picking up a bit, then you saw Hopkins get back to not his best for sure, but somewhere near his best. And anywhere near his best he's still going to be a good wide receiver 1 for any team, really.
Yeah, I mean, if we were able to pick up a wide receiver lower in the draft, just to give Levis maybe that extra weapon, I think that would go a long way.
Yeah.
I think, okay, we're going to move on to Antonio Pierce, obviously interim coach for the Raiders, and now he's been made permanent. And I think with that, you kind of show that he had a successful little stint. He kind of kept the boat sturdy, didn't he?
Yeah, I think he did okay with considering what he has. I don't think they've really got much on that team apart from, well, I mean,
they've got some big superstars, but
they do. But
it's the gap in quality between that. I think.
I mean, Devontae Adams didn't have a great year.
No,
he's still got, I want to say, 3 years left on his deal. So whether they trade him and try and rebuild or what,
Josh Jacobs
will be. But he only signed a 1-year deal though last off season, I'm pretty sure. So he'll be a free agent coming up now. In which case, what do they do with him? Do they sign him to another 1-year deal?
Well, it's funny you mentioned Adams Jacobs. They were actively sort of canvassing the support of PS to remain head coach.
Okay.
And that could potentially influence the contract situations. We will obviously have to see in the future. It's the NFL, nothing's ever cased in stone. But yeah, you said 5-4 at the end of the season, but there were some highlights. You can't forget that 63-21 demolition.
Yeah, true, but you can't forget the 3-0 loss to Vikings. That's just sensational, really.
One for the ages, yeah.
How do you score no points and 60-something in the same season?
Weren't they in the same one after the other as well?
Quite possibly, yeah.
They were, yeah.
There was
they lost to the Vikings 3-0 and then went and scored 63 in the next game.
There was a run of games in the middle of the season where teams were the games were either like 65-30 or they were like 6-0.
Yeah.
It was great.
It was 5 days later.
Was it?
Was it 5 days?
Not even a full week.
No chance.
That's got to be one of the worst turnarounds in history.
You just know they got an absolute battering in the changing room.
Yeah. Yeah. How have you gone from that to that?
But going back to PS, obviously I've got skin in the game. He was linebacker for that infamous 07 season with the Giants, ending New England's perfect season. Be still making heart. For a long time, the Raiders have been mired in mediocrity. You know, they were so mediocre that eventually Oakland decided, we don't want you here anymore. Let's move to Vegas. But they've gone for the sort of high-profile signings in recent years. Obviously, McDaniels didn't work as an experiment. I think PS is definitely a long-term head coach hire. The QB situation's interesting.
I think that goes the same with hiring Garoppolo. I mean, he's just kind of he'll give you a solid season, but
see, I think Garoppolo's on his way out.
Yeah, there's such a Garoppolo side would be like how they finished 8 and 9.
Yeah,
I don't think in their situation, Garoppolo's too good for them to tank effectively.
Yeah.
But he's not really good enough. I mean,
he's not going to take him the next
Jimmy
level.
Garoppolo's got a ring and he's played in another Super Bowl. So you can't fault his resume, I guess.
And they did finish 8 and 9 this year.
He did.
Yeah, he's not a quarterback who's going to take you to the Super Bowl on his own without a good team around him.
No, and it's a more promising end to the season as well when you look at it.
I think they either need to get rid of him and just have a bad season, get some draft picks, or if you stick with him, I don't really see where you go from
They've been quite average for a number of years now, haven't they? You never thought, we're going to walk straight through them, but you don't think,
Yeah.
We got a tough game, really.
Yeah.
The thing with Garoppolo is he's been benched quite a lot this past season, and I think PS has signalled he wants Aidan O'Connell, rookie QB, starting.
He wants O'Connell starting.
I think
from next season.
He's got
as
a
well?
good relationship. I think there's signs. I'm not saying anything because I don't know him personally.
Yeah.
But
if you proper want to refresh, I think that's the way to do it.
well, this is the thing. In free agency, there's not that many options at QB, and what are they? Number 13 in the draft. I think they've got the 13th.
Around
Yeah,
there
yeah.
somewhere.
All of the sort of high-profile QBs are going to be taken by then. I mean, you've got what's the one at Michigan, JJ
McCarthy.
JJ
McCarthy,
McCarthy.
yeah.
Maybe they could go in for him, but unless they want a massive rebuild, I think O'Connell could be the man. There's a couple of other pieces dropping off. Hunter Renfro.
Yeah.
I think quite inevitably he's leaving at the
Yeah.
end of this season.
I mean, he hasn't done much for the last few years, really, has he?
no.
Similar to the Titans, I think it's more transitional. Just
I wouldn't mind
the draft
seeing.
picks up.
If O'Connell starts, if he turns out well, you have a good season. If he turns out badly, you get a good draft pick. So I think having him, I don't think I'd try and take someone like JJ McCarthy. I don't think that really does anything for the team that Aidan O'Connell wouldn't be able to do.
I think with PS as well, Oakland's weakness last season, third downs, 24th in league, 35.6% conversion rate. They need to be gutsier. They need to improve that play calling on a third down. They need to be more fluid with their play.
Yeah.
And PS was actually a Raiders fan growing up
Yeah.
in LA, near the Coliseum. So he's going to have a closer relationship with the fans. He's going to have a closer relationship with the GM, who's renowned for wanting that sort of Raiders blood in
Yeah.
his head coaches, which may be why McDaniels didn't work out. But I think he's going to have a lot more passion than his successors. He was almost sort of playing that. He was a football manager. He was that Ralph Rangnick figure at the end of last season,
Yeah.
where he was called in basically to rebuild midway through the season when it was patently obvious they weren't going anyway. So now he's got a chance to get ahead of steam. We'll have to see, but you can never bank on the Raiders.
No, as we've said, they've been mediocre for a little while, and I just don't really see them.
I think keeping hold of Max Crosby is huge as well. Obviously, he
Oh, yeah.
was unsettled by obviously who was going to take over at head coach, and I think now they've got their man. I mean, he already had a great season, but hopefully next year we can see him be a lot better.
Yeah.
Okay, we've got our third coach hiring, and this is also in LA. It's Jim Harbaugh. Obviously, won his first national title this year. Big move for him and Chargers, I think, to kind of get Herbert back on track.
I think I can't remember if I called it last week to the Chargers, but there was definitely talk about him last week going somewhere.
Yeah.
I think it works really well. I think the Chargers need somebody like him with a lot of experience.
Bring back that kind of positive energy. Obviously, he's had a great season as well.
And he knows how to win. I mean, yeah, fair enough. He lost in the Super Bowl, but now he's won a national championship. He knows how to develop players. He's got, I want to say, all time, he's got like the 5th highest winning percentage out of all NFL head coaches. And I think he comes into the league now currently with as the highest current winning percentage, even though he hasn't been in the league for a few years. So he does know how to win.
And it's not like he's out of his depth. He's been there before. He knows what it takes.
Yeah, and the Chargers need someone to get the best out of all those talented players that they have, and they haven't had that for a few years, and maybe he's the man to do it. I'd like to see the Chargers do well. I think they will do well with him.
Herbert is great to watch, isn't he?
He is.
I think he's definitely on his days, and he's in the top 5 discussion.
Yeah.
And I think if they had a Harbaugh there, he
Yeah.
could kind of refine him a bit more, get him more consistent. Obviously, he had a few injuries as well, didn't he?
He
Herbert,
did.
so I think it might be about just keeping his fitness.
Yeah, have you seen the how stacked the AFC West is looking this year with head coaches? You
Just
got
walk us through it, yeah.
Andy Reid,
Yeah.
Sean Payton,
Yeah.
obviously Antonio Pierce now with the Raiders, and
Yeah.
now Jim Harbaugh is
Yeah,
at the Chargers. That's a pretty strong division, isn't it?
that is pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Feels like some of the more lackluster leagues have kind of picked it up a little bit this year.
Yeah. I mean, historically, you would have said what the NFC South. Is it NFC South? What's the Titans in? Is it AFC or
That's
NFC?
AFC.
AFC South, yeah. And what was it? The one that Tampa Bay are in. That's quite a weak division.
That's the
if I'm not wrong.
NFC South, isn't it?
What's that?
The
Let's have a-
forbidden division.
That is there. NFC South, Buccaneers, Saints, Falcons, and Panthers.
There was that year, like 3 or 4 years ago, where the NFC East, I think someone won the division with like 7 wins. It was crazy, and now all those teams have gone on. Well, apart from the Commanders.
NFC East, that's a
And
massive
Giants.
team.
There's always one division of just absolutely unwatchable football every season.
Yeah.
Okay, obviously, big weekend. We had the divisional round. We had some big results. Obviously, the Niners beating Green Bay, Baltimore easing Texans out and breaking their hearts. Obviously, the Lions got the win at Ford Field again, and Mahomes and Allen kind of battled it out in a very impressive performance from both of them, I think. So I think we'll start off with the 49ers beating Green Bay. Obviously, we watched it, boys. What do we think?
I think Green Bay played really well. I think they were unlucky to lose. What was the?
They lost 21-24.
21-24.
So
Yeah.
it was the a field goal which done it, I think.
It was, yeah. And the kicker missing the field
And
goal.
that was before the Niners got their touchdown, and
Yeah.
they would have had a 7-point gap, so they would have felt a lot more comfortable in the game. I feel like the crowd as well was really like they weren't confident at all in their side's ability to kind of get over the line.
No, to be fair, I do think the Packers played really well, and like I said, they were unlucky to lose, but the 49ers have found a way the last few years to get to the NFC Championship. I think it's their 3rd straight appearance now, I want to say. So, I mean, whilst we kind of saw it coming, I think Green Bay are in a really good place. I think if they keep that sort of form going into next year, they could definitely get to this point again, if not further.
What are the thoughts on Jordan Love? 2 touchdowns in the game.
There's
but 2
there's
interceptions.
already news going around that he's going to get a big money contract, and
That's not surprising, is it? Not
I mean, yeah,
surprising.
he had a good game. That last pick, though, I just don't know what he was
Yeah,
doing.
throwing
No,
across
no.
his body into no man's land.
They had about 40 seconds left. I want to say it was like a 2nd down, possibly 1st or 2nd down. 2 timeouts left.
why not just
There's
hike
no
it?
need to
Yeah,
make that throw at all.
Yeah,
Even if you
desperate.
make a little 5-yard throw down the sideline and it goes,
Obviously they brought pressure. I think it just kind of got the better of him.
it was just a bad decision, and ultimately that against a defense like the 49ers, that's going to cost you.
I mean, the Christian McCaffrey was just... You can't stop him, can you?
No, I
one
mean-
can.
I know Purdy had a bad game, but on McCaffrey's ravaging touchdown, it was a really good call. I don't know if you noticed this. He signalled an extra blocker
I did see that, yeah.
into the play, and that created the perfect lane. And that's what Purdy is so good at. He just makes those little minor adjustments that no one really acknowledges.
That is true.
But CMC can't work without Purdy.
Yeah.
Purdy can't work without some...
That run was
elite.
amazing. You
Yeah.
just saw him as soon as you saw him break that first line. You were just he was gone. You knew it. He was
There's
gone.
no catching him, is there?
No.
Aaron Jones, though, played well.
He did, yeah.
Played well, yeah.
I think what I saw as well was, despite obviously McCaffrey getting 2 touchdowns, the Green Bay were one of the only teams to hold him to less than 100 yards this year, and he had that 12 occasions.
Yeah, I mean, I've got it down here. He had. I think I want to say he had like 90 something rushing
98.
yards.
Yeah.
And then about 30 receiving yards. So he still had over 100 scrimmage yards and 2
Yeah.
touchdowns in the game, which is kind of what his game's all about. I mean, he's not necessarily going to go for 150 rushing yards every game. It might be 75 and 75, and that's kind of where he builds up so many yards and why he's so important to that team.
I mean, the carries as well, 17. It shows they do trust him a lot. I mean, he is definitely the best running back in the league at the moment.
Yeah, I would certainly put him.
By far.
I mean, I have to point this out purely because we've got a lesson to teach you. So there was one play from San Fran that was so good, the Packers defender actually trips over the 49ers offensive player, and he, in turn, tripped over the man with the microphone. Now, at first I was thinking, what the hell is this? It's actually a parabolic microphone. Now, get ready for this. This is the microphone equivalent of an antenna. It bounces sound from the sideline into the mic like radio waves.
What? So the sound from the sideline
Yeah.
goes into the mic and then goes where?
And then bounces back into the...
I reckon this has to be a segment every week, like Ethan's fact of the week. Ethan's football fact.
So what does that mean? Does that go into their helmets then, so we can't hear a play, or?
No, so you can hear the sideline talk from the broadcast.
Oh,
TV
okay,
radio.
yeah.
Oh right.
Why am I wasting this information on you lot?
You're not wasting it at all, mate. Keep going.
I was
had
just
like
trying
a
to figure it out.
parabolic antenna. I was like, oh my god, I'm out of my depth here.
I'm a better man for knowing it.
I think we all are.
I thought as well what set the Niners up to obviously go into the championship was their linebackers.
Mm.
2 outstanding performances in Fred Warner and Greenlaw. I mean,
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
saw,
yeah,
you saw
yeah.
the big play
Yeah. I
of
mean,
Greenlaw at the end. I mean, you saw in the post-match interview he was trying to get that pick 6.
Yeah. I mean, that was interesting. I was just willing him to go down at that point. I was like, oh my god, what is he doing? Like, he was running around with the ball for absolutely no. He could have just sat on the floor and finished the game, and he was trying to get a pick 6, and I was like, please,
Just go. Yeah.
I didn't
end the game.
I just envisaged another kind of Jacoby Myers throwing it to
Backwards, yeah.
throwing it to Chandler Jones.
That
again.
is
Yeah.
That is there in the pantheon.
that is
That's
that
up
is
there with-
history.
That's up
That-
there with the bat fumble, I think.
Don't bring up the bat fumble.
But San Fran's defense was found wanting at times, to be honest. Like Bo Melton's touchdown, where were they?
Yeah.
Where did they go? It was just an open lane.
I think if they play like that again, I don't know. I don't know how they'll fare against the Lions.
Well, the Lions will get onto that later, but O-line, that's
Yeah.
going to be probably where
Yeah.
the game's won.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, we're going to move on to the Baltimore game, and after Lamar's performance, there's no way you can't give him the MVP, I don't think.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, 250 total yards and 4 total touchdowns. Like, did it on the ground, through the air. Can't fault him really in any way.
You see those clips online, it's like Lamar 0.2 seconds after the ball gets snapped to him, and it's just someone absolutely legging it. Like, sometimes he just doesn't even look at his receivers, he just knows where he wants to go, and he knows how to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, he had that run where he just completely split open the O-line and got about 30 yards.
Yeah.
He's just so well-rounded, isn't he?
I think another thing as well was he was spreading around the passes to Beckham Jr., Bateman, Hill. He didn't target one receiver in particular. He had that devilment, that unpredictability, which makes him so difficult to track. And that, of course, is assuming he doesn't run, which
exactly, that's the thing.
Is not a risk you can take.
It's so hard when you've got someone whose passing game is that good and whose running game is that good as well. Like,
you can kind of see like the determination in his eyes that he's the man who really wants the ring to kind of prove his doubters wrong.
Yeah.
I thought kind of an old name cropping up was Aguilar, obviously getting the touchdown just out of nowhere.
I will be completely honest with you. I didn't even know he was on the Ravens, and I saw him catch that touchdown, and I was like, "Is that who I think it is?" I was confused, but yeah, I mean, fair play to him.
I think he's just been kind of floating, hasn't he, in the league?
Yeah, he's been floating for about 10 years now.
I saw a thing online. I can't remember who said it, but they basically said if the Chiefs stop Lamar from running and they force him to throw, that they easily win the game. So, what's your thoughts on that?
I think I don't know about easily. I think
they do have some top stars like Snead, don't they?
Rushing, they are really good.
He was like, he said it with conviction as well.
Yeah,
They've got Edwards and obviously Lamar.
Yeah.
Get out the pocket and just put his foot down and go.
Yeah, you say if you stop Lamar running, but can they stop Lamar running?
Yeah, and also he got 2 passing touchdowns against the Texans.
Exactly.
He's showing that he is versatile as it comes, and
exactly. I mean, he only had 150 passing yards, I want to say, and two touchdowns,
152,
and then 100 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns. So like,
realistically, you try and stop the rushing, he'll just pass around.
They
you.
always extend plays. They
Always
find a way to make the play elongate a bit more.
And yeah, like I said, like, you can say all you want if they stop him, but they actually have to go and stop him. Like, and I don't know whether that's going to happen.
And I'm flipping the script over. I mean, first play this game against the Texans, Singletary just got stuffed by the defense, and it's like, I think the Ravens' defense.
We haven't even got onto that yet.
No.
Roquan Smith.
Yeah.
We focus so much on the offense.
Yeah.
You need a defense, and I think
They got a top 3 defense for sure.
He's
year.
only 26 as well, Roquan, and since he came in, he's completely changed the mentality of that defense.
Yeah,
I think.
definitely.
Obviously, they had no Marlon Humphreys as well, and we spoke about it last week. Check out that episode. You haven't checked it out. Quick plug. But obviously, Marlon Humphreys had a pretty solid year. Definitely top 5 for cornerbacks this year, and out through injury, they still just kind of show Texans what they were about.
It wasn't noticeable without him, which I think shows how good they are.
Did we all see that likely touchdown at the end of the game? The most casual catch I've ever seen in my life. It was like someone just passed him like a potato or something.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, at that point they could do what they want really.
I think they already had their eyes on the championship by then. So.
Yeah.
Texans. We need to talk about the Texans.
Yeah.
Stroud wasn't bad, but the lack of the running game just detonated whatever chance the Texans had.
Yeah.
I think it cursed them a bit because didn't I say Kaimi Fairbairn in OT field goal?
You did.
And then he misses one from 47.
Yeah, I remember thinking that when I saw him miss, I was like, oh dear, Ethan's prediction not gone well here.
I mean, it was a similar scoreline to the earlier game in the season, wasn't it? It was like 24-9, so
yeah,
there was obviously a big difference. And I think with Stroud, it just kind of showed that he's got the mentality. He just needs a few more big players around him, and there's no reason why they couldn't get to the championship in the future.
Steven Sims on that punt return, though, he was just bump and run. He just didn't stop.
Yeah.
And I think there were a few good defensive performances. I might get onto them later. Little preview what's to come.
Yeah.
Also, I have to mention this. Everyone but the centre. There was an everyone but the centre penalty, which is the NFL equivalent of someone dropping a glass in a pub and everyone shouting, "Way!" It's just so funny.
You kind of see it in the referee's eyes when they're about to say it. They absolutely love
smirking. It's either that or the whole offensive line.
Yeah.
That's another good one.
It is without a doubt the best call they can actually give.
What you were saying though about that punt return, I forgot about that. So that means the Ravens defense basically held the Texans offense to only 3 points. You can't really argue with that.
I mean, you just can't say anything against it.
No.
And I think with the Chiefs though, I think with Mahomes, it's the two best QBs in the league. Because obviously we said typically Mahomes and Allen, they're the two best, but this year I think Allen's dropped off a little bit and Lamar stepped up, so you kind of get to see the two best go against each other.
Are we previewing the game now?
Yeah, another preview. I think we're keeping everyone on their toes in this episode.
I was just looking, it looks Mark Andrews looks set to return.
Oh really?
Which is a big announcement. Obviously possibly the two best tight ends in the league.
Yeah.
Mark Andrews and Travis Kelce going head to head.
That is, I didn't realise he was.
Do you think he can just slot in and just play brilliantly though?
100%. We've seen him do it
I reckon he can play well. It just depends how he actually physically is.
Even if he gets just a few first downs, obviously being back after injury, I think it just takes that extra pressure off Lamar.
He's Lamar's favourite target. That just gives him that 100%. Security that he needs in a game that big. He knows that he can go to Andrews.
We mentioned as well how he was spraying balls to every weapon he's got, and then when you've got Andrews there as well, it just kind of means the Chiefs defense just have to stay on their toes.
Z Flowers, can't forget about him as
well.
Yeah,
brilliant player.
Just thinking of reliable receivers, I was just going to go kind of the opposite. To see that Stephon Diggs drop.
That was rough.
What a bomb though from Josh Allen. I saw him let go of that ball and I was like, oh my, that has gone about 80 yards in the air. It was unbelievable.
Some of those picks in the Bills-Chiefs game I think were detrimental to. I think that is going to be the main chance the Bills have at finally overcoming that skeleton in the closet that is the Chiefs. And it's just wide right.
Yep.
Ingrained in Bills history.
It really is. As soon as I saw the kick start drifting to the right, I was like, not this again.
You couldn't have even hit it left. It had to be right.
Of course.
Couldn't have even hit
the whole stadium was just in disbelief, I think. They were like, no way we've actually just been...
I've got to say though, did you see how much the wind took that kick?
Oh yeah.
One second it looked like it was going to go like left directly, middle, and then next second it was 20 feet right. It was unbelievable. But I mean, as a kicker, you got to account for those things, don't you?
The thing is also, Andrews in the championship game, will he have his brother watching on from the stands, drunk with his shirt off,
with Taylor Swift?
Will Jackson Mahomes be there? All the questions.
Yeah. God, that'd be.
I thought he was banned, didn't he?
Yeah.
Is he?
I think he is banned. I think our podcast might get banned.
What's he done this time? Yeah.
Who's hosting the championship game?
I don't actually know.
It's at the Ravens.
Yeah.
He goes to the UFC events sometimes, and they put a camera on it, and I'm like, oh,
really?
God.
Yeah.
Who's that?
Jackson
Mahomes.
Yeah.
Oh dear, yeah.
I think the Ravens.
I don't think that's a segment we want to have on this podcast.
I think the Ravens are going to be having stern words with T-Swizzle's publicity team.
Yeah,
no
and probably
access.
Jason Kelce as well.
Yeah.
Another road game for the Chiefs though, and Mahomes.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
True.
But they showed they can do it. I mean,
they can.
I mean, it was obviously quite a cold game in Buffalo, but obviously
What a shock.
Yeah.
They
Chiefs
shoveled all
were
that
used to
snow for nothing.
Yeah. Oh my god, the amount of things I've seen online.
Yeah.
All of those fans dedicating like their hard weekends
Yeah.
to just getting dumped out like that.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, I queued 3 hours for tickets
Oh yeah.
in a line the other day
And didn't get
and
'em.
didn't get any.
Yeah.
You got them in the end though,
Got 'em in
online.
the end.
Yeah. I think Newport finally discovered internet, did they?
Yeah.
Discovered fire on Monday, internet on Thursday.
Oi, 4G's coming soon, right?
Discovered Treforest Sports Park on Wednesday.
yeah.
I feel like
They're making
I'm
moves.
going to have to work Newport into every one of these podcasts now.
Got to drop it in without us noticing.
Can we move on? I know none of you want to, but can we move on to Detroit against Tampa?
I thought you were about to say, can we move on to Newport? I was going to say, do you know what the podcast is?
No, that's next segment. So not really the most interesting of games, but it was
I thought it was pretty good. I thought both teams were pretty similar.
My first ever full game I've watched.
yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks to you on Snap, by the way, for saying tickets a minimum of 1.2k.
Yeah, I got some trivia.
Yeah.
Most expensive NFL game in history for one ticket,
Mm.
just for like nosebleed seats.
Well, it
Yeah.
was their first game at this level in 32 years.
Yeah.
So
Still criminal, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
That any ticket that costs that much is absurd.
at least
the
they won.
The fans got what they want.
Yeah,
That is true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Imagine paying that much and losing.
I enjoyed it. I thought it was great.
Yeah. I think
I
I didn't think it was too bad of a game actually.
I thought both offense and defense kind of showed there were plays where one offense would just go straight through,
Mm.
and then the next time, the defense would just completely hold them up, and they'd have to punch straight away. I think it was great resilience from both teams, and I feel especially sorry for Mayfield, obviously
Yeah.
getting like 380 yards,
Mm.
and they don't even come away with a win.
He had a couple of picks as well.
he
though,
did.
didn't
Well,
he?
this is the thing. Early on in the first quarter, consecutive plays, get sacked, then throws
Yeah,
a pick.
I mean, it got tipped, didn't it, the first one? I think that just kind of showed that they were fighting uphill against
Yeah.
a Ford Field atmosphere, which
Yeah.
was just a bit too much for them.
The indiscipline didn't really help them either. There were at least 2 penalties on that first drive that led to a field goal for
Yeah.
Detroit. Back to Mayfield, he's had career highs in all categories:
Mm.
rushing, passing. But he's played for 4 teams in his first 6 seasons in the NFL.
Yeah.
Is the loyalty going to be there? Realistically,
Hey, he wanted to stay at the Browns. They just booted him out. I
Yeah.
think.
I think it's dependent, obviously.
Yeah.
Tampa Bay, lots and lots of free agents. Like obviously, the key one is Mike Evans. I mean, you saw their partnership.
Yeah. I don't think it's a question of Baker's loyalty. I think if I was the Bucks, I would re-sign Baker right now. I don't know how long. Oh no, he's a free agent now, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, they just signed a new coach as well, didn't they? Tampa Bay, I think.
At times for me in that game, I saw that it felt like it was very much Mayfield versus the Lions. At times he was just throwing these passes out. Some were working, some weren't.
Yeah.
But
I
I think Evans took the first kind of half. He was dropping quite a little bit. Obviously he warmed up, and in the fourth he played some massive catches.
Yeah, it felt like every time I looked up as the game was going on, it was Mayfield at least 10 yards to Evans. I got it here. He had 8 receptions, 147 yards and a touchdown. I mean, that is a good game, especially in a playoff game at this stage.
including a very impressive deep throw to Baker, 2 yards the end zone.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't think the Bucks they did well. I don't think they were ever going to get any further. If they got to the championship game, I think they would have got destroyed.
I mean, everyone had them for being like the worst team in the NFL this year, and I think how getting to the divisional round isn't a positive year is.
Oh yeah.
Well, I mean, you look at
Beyond me.
the fact that they got further than the Cowboys, they got further than the Steelers.
Everyone in the
Yeah.
playoffs gets further than the Cowboys.
Yeah.
True.
Except the
As long
Cowboys.
as you win a game, you're further than the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Special teams, very much the order of the day, the order
Yeah.
of the weekend. Massive missed field goal in the second quarter, and I think if
Yeah.
that gets slotted through instead of coming doink off the
Yeah.
uprights, could be a different game.
That
Yeah,
doink
that-
sound is iconic.
Yeah, it wasn't bass boosted. this
No,
time.
it wasn't quite the other one, but it was. Any doink is still a doink, but
But look, we got to give credit to the Lions for showing resilience, especially in that fourth quarter. Reynolds with the touchdown on the 1 yard line, going for it on fourth. That's
Yeah.
also that's like the sort of ultimate Hobson's choice.
Mm.
4th down on the 1 yard line. Do you go for it?
You have to. You have to go for it.
But the
In the playoffs, you got to be ballsy.
Yeah,
You
to,
have
to
playoffs,
get through.
Playoff, yeah, for sure. That's a good point. In the playoffs, 4th and 1 on the goal line. If you don't go for it and you lose, you're
I
getting.
mean, I
slated.
didn't mention earlier in the Niners game, but Greenlaw, obviously, Jordan Love went for a tush push, and Greenlaw just completely hit into
Yeah.
his head
Yeah.
and just stopped the 1 yard.
Yeah, he had an unbelievable game.
well,
Yeah.
Saturday was the day of the kick return Uno reverse card, if you will. There were so many kicks just being muffed and then returned, and
Yeah,
yeah,
It's great to watch because it keeps like the atmosphere intense. If a team goes and scores and you got a team come right back with 6,
yeah,
I think
yeah,
it just
yeah, for sure.
it keeps the keeps both teams kind of realizing that any team could actually win it.
bit of a
Mhm.
basketball game,
Yeah,
as
Yeah.
it were.
I don't mind it. So I think obviously looking at the divisional rounds, I think we're gonna have to decide on our top 5 best offensive and defensive players of the week. Who wants to go first?
Can we not include Lamar? I think he's a given.
Well,
Okay, I can. Well then,
That's
that
fine.
Can,
I've got
You've got to include him,
I've got
you
6.
can't not.
I've got
I'll
5.
include him. I'll
I've got
include
5
him, and then
about
I'll
Lamar.
put in an honourable mention then.
Okay, should we all just give shouts then? Or
Nah, Ethan, you can go first if you
so
like. You seem pretty
Trevor
confident.
Kittle from the 49ers.
Okay.
4 receptions, 81 yards, and they were all at critical moments of the game, pushing his way upfield,
touchdown as well.
touchdown as well, yeah. Doesn't get spoken about in as much praise as sort of Debo and some
Yeah,
of the other
yeah.
components of that 49ers O-line, but he's there, they need him,
He just turned up on big plays.
he
I think.
turns up
Yeah.
on big plays, he's a pressure moment player.
Kittle comes out with something every now and then.
I think it's where
like, wow.
like they realise he hasn't had a reception in so long. They just kind of realise, oh, they're not going to throw to him,
Yeah,
and then
they do.
They just stand off him a little bit, and then they give him like they just give him that amount of space.
Big WWE fan. Trevor
Is he?
Kittle. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you reckon he's up there as the best tight ends in the league? Do you reckon he's top 3 in
Oh,
that
yeah,
conversation with Andrews?
Is he any relation to George Kittle, Ethan?
what did he say?
They call him Trevor Kittle.
Yeah,
Trevor. Yeah.
I keep thinking of Kettle. Yeah, George Kittle.
Trevor
Yeah.
Kettle, isn't he the referee? Don't remind me, because he's scarred me. That man.
but no, I do think he had a good game, whatever his name is.
I'm going to throw in Jameer Gibbs for the Lions as well, especially that one TD. That one
That stiff
TD.
arm was brutal.
He was just cutting swaths through the defence, you know. To be fair, I thought it was cursed. 13 minutes, 13 seconds on the clock in the fourth quarter. I thought, it's probably not the time you want to score, mate. But he was just so good against.
That's some pickup by the Lions, and it's
Yeah.
a credit to their upstairs of getting those picks in who do the job for them.
We just missed out on a prime WWE reference then as well. Ethan says that he likes WWE and he doesn't know his name, and no one said it doesn't matter what your name is. That is it's criminal, boys.
I don't know my WWE well enough, I'm afraid.
You don't know The Rock says that?
Yeah, I do, but like it didn't spring straight to
Do you
mind.
smell what George Kittle is cooking?
He's cooking up a
Kittle
feast.
bottom, Kittle bottom.
Got the Kittle's elbow.
Yeah.
laying the smack down.
So you've put in obviously Lamar's a given. You've put in Gibbs and Kittle. Who else have you got?
I mean, I kind of don't want to include him, but CMC was good
Got to include him.
against Green Bay. He did what was required of him.
Yeah.
I think it was a very poor performance from the 49ers. We're not going to shy away from that. But players like CMC, McCaffrey, probably shouldn't abbreviate him because most people don't know what the hell they're talking about.
Yeah.
They'll know.
But players like that in big moments, they can get you out of holes. You know, they can. Don't give me that look. They can dig you out of danger, and when your team's underperforming and misfiring, you need that resilience from players who've turned it on all season to carry you forward. You know, like do you think personally CMC was that good against the Green Bay? Do you reckon they would have done it without him?
No, I think they dealt with him quite well. It's just he had obviously quite a lot of carries, but he only had a few plays where he actually got the big amounts of yards.
That's the thing with McCaffrey. You deal with him well, and he gets 130 yards and 2 touchdowns. Like
You just can't stop him, can you? He's inevitable.
Yeah, I mean that's a like career high game for a lot of players, and
Yeah.
for McCaffrey that's a pretty bang average game really, and that's like pretty much half and half split of receiving and rushing, which is what makes him so good, like I said before.
Yeah, he's got that dual threat, doesn't he?
Who's your last pick then?
To be honest, there were a lot of options I could have gone for you. I'm gonna go for a little underrated one with Zay Flowers.
Okay.
Couple of very key receptions from Lamar.
Kept the Ravens ticking over, do you think?
Yeah, that was literally the phrase I was going to use. And yeah, you know, just put the game out of reach of the Texans. He's very good with his little pockets of movement.
Definitely the best pick up in my fantasy last year.
Really?
Yeah, I kept him in all year. He was quality.
He's just shifty, isn't he? Like
yeah, you can't keep tabs of
He's
him.
got that showmanship and cockiness, which is what you want in the league.
And you need that blend. You can't have one more than the other. Otherwise, you'll just come across as either arrogant or just not very good.
Yeah.
I'll get onto my list now if you like.
Yeah.
So, I've got Lamar in there obviously because he was probably
the MVP, the most valuable player.
But since I'm not allowed to include him, we'll start off. I'll go for an honourable mention, and I'll give that to Amon-Ra St. Brown. That's 77 yards and a touchdown, but he just had a few big receptions.
That's what I was thinking.
The game going. Like Goff, he's been one of Goff's favourite targets all year with Laporta as well, and he's just like that kind of safety blanket for him. He knew he could find him, and he found him on some big plays, and that, like I said, just kept drives going.
What scares me is it's his third season.
Yeah, I know.
He
already had.
Quarter, he was huge.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
definitely.
He was,
Like as soon as he got that touchdown, you knew. Like obviously, you get your main man a touchdown, and you kind of know the game's been put to bed.
Yeah.
Then
I was thinking about putting Goff in there, but a couple of picks kind of took him out of that for me. I had Isaiah Pacheco.
Yeah.
As one of mine.
97 yards.
He had just shy of 100, and then he had over 100 total yards, I believe. And a touchdown as well. He's been a big factor for the Chiefs' offense all year. And
he runs like he's trying out new shoes.
just run out of Shoe Factory.
Yeah,
we were saying this yesterday, weren't we?
Shoe Factory? Shoes up.
Shoe Factory.
He runs like he's angry, doesn't he?
Yeah, literally. We were saying this yesterday, like, surely he'd
if you haven't seen him
he'd
run
take
before,
a second off his 40 time if he just didn't
if
put his knees up to
before,
his
you've
chest
definitely
every time.
got to just go online and search up Pacheco.
He runs like
running
a
with the ball.
cartoon character.
Is
doesn't
he
he?
a dino stomper?
He's doing a high. It's like, you know when you do a high knees warm up.
Yeah.
He's one of them, but that's his sprint.
It's like a toddler kicking off. He's like proper putting his feet into the ground.
It's fun to watch, but I like it though. Like, and he gets up to the line of scrimmage.
He does.
And he just pounds through him like every single time.
Yeah.
Like that's
It's not a good sign when you put him in YouTube and the first two things are Isaiah Pacheco running hard and running.
It's like Sterling, to be fair, isn't it?
He just has a vendetta with the ground itself.
that is very.
He's playing floor as lava, impossible.
Yeah.
I had Mike Evans in there, I think.
Okay.
Mr. Consistent.
I can't believe Ethan didn't have him in. I
thought
I'd leave it on the sly so
Despite
he'd
the
miss
loss,
him out. But
despite the loss, I don't think you can ignore.
how can you
150
ignore? Yeah.
And a touchdown. And
The most impressive thing, he was always in double coverage, and on the plays where they thought they were going to run it, they just bombed it to him.
he was catching everything. Like everything that was coming his way seemed to be 15, 20 yards. Who have I gone for next? I had Travis Kelce in there. 75 yards and a couple of touchdowns. I was a bit hesitant. I didn't have him in there until I wasn't allowed to have Lamar in there. Okay. So I put him in.
I put him in off the fact that they obviously, him and Mahomes have now got the most successful partnership in the playoffs.
True, yeah. 16 touchdowns combined.
And you can't deny how good they are together. I think that's what obviously won in the game. I mean,
and I think 2 touchdowns in a game where you win by 3 points.
You
can't say that is
not an
impact.
one of your best offensive players there.
Yeah, for sure. And then my final one, I've gone McCaffrey. Bit of a boring pick, but you know, he has to be in there.
Okay, I'll get on to mine. So we've obviously spoke about Gibbs. I've got him in there. I thought that run was incredible. Mike Evans as well. Obviously, we just spoke about that. Kelce, you said he just snuck him in because you couldn't have Lamar, but I thought the kind of where his route got shut off for his second touchdown and the ability to kind of off the back of his hand just get around the 3 defenders and sneak it in.
Yeah.
As well, I thought that was key.
Yeah.
Lamar's obviously on there, but
yeah,
can't have him in. McCaffrey, again, boring pick, but he is just
The problem is, look, it's all the boring picks, but they are all the ones that have been.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
I'll tell you what, who I've gone for. I've gone for Aaron Jones
Oh,
Yeah.
from Green Bay.
I like that pick. Yeah.
Yeah, he
He
played well.
he
didn't
definitely he popped into my head straight away when I was thinking of doing this.
And I think
list.
if they'd have won, he would have come to
Yeah,
sprung to mind a bit
100%.
more.
Yeah, 18 carries and 108 yards. Obviously no touchdown, but he also just like kept the Green Bay
kept ticking them over,
flow.
didn't
Yeah,
he?
he kept them.
Just kept getting the first downs.
Yeah, and obviously he had the return as well for about 40 something yards,
Yeah.
and then he got punched out of his hands, and then the ball was spinning everywhere.
That
and
was
then
crazy.
that was I couldn't believe that on TV.
But he's been a big part of that offense for a few years now.
Yeah,
And I mean, before Love was kind of fully firing, he was keeping that offense just ticking over.
the trust to obviously give him the ball against the Niners defense. Obviously Fred Warner, an absolute joke.
Yeah.
I mean, it just shows how highly they rate him in their offense.
No, I think I can respect that pick for sure.
Yeah, so I've gone Gibbs, Evans, Kelsey, McCaffrey, and Jones. Reef, have you got a top 5 for your offense?
No, not really.
It's too hard to narrow it down.
Yeah.
Everyone's a winner.
Yeah. They all tried their best.
Yeah, exactly.
I got a couple of defensive shouts to throw out there.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, there's one obvious one I assume everyone's got on there with Dre Greenlaw.
Yeah.
2 picks, game-winning interception.
Yeah.
And yeah, just like he's won
I've
the
got his
game for them there.
compatriot with him on there as well.
Who, Fred?
Yep.
You love Fred Warner, don't you?
Yeah. Did you see that first quarter performance though?
Yeah,
He
he
stopped
is unbelievable.
like 5 plays on his own.
I got I've written down here. I've written Derek Barnes, game-winning pick, even though Love threw it straight to him.
Well,
But you still got to catch it.
you miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Exactly.
You know.
Exactly. But I thought he had a good game regardless. And then I've also got I'm going to struggle to pronounce his name, but I'll give it a go. Ifeatu Melifonwu
Good enough.
from the Lions. Safety.
Oh, yeah.
9 tackles and 1.5 sacks from safety. I'd say that puts you in the top defensive players of the week.
I remember I watched, you know how they show the player and where they come from on their college?
Yeah.
That literally had his name,
Yeah.
and then the next play he just
really?
sacked. He just got a sack.
I think
That was perfect timing.
Hutchinson played well as well.
I've got him in my top
he
5.
had a sack.
Oh, I've got a stat about him.
Yeah.
He's had 4 sacks in his last. 8 sacks in his last 4
Was that off the
games.
top of the head?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, I heard it on the broadcast and I wrote it down. That's how dedicated I am to
You
this
heard it through
pod.
the grapevine.
8 sacks in 4 games though is pretty.
Yeah.
Didn't he have like
incredible,
4
wasn't
all season, or like 6 all season? And he's
I'm
just
not sure,
got
but
more.
did you see how wasn't it games with 2 or more pressures?
Oh, really?
I think I want to say it was Micah Parsons was second with possibly 11,
And then he's got 16.
Hutchinson had 16.
Yeah.
So he was clearly like, in terms of getting to the quarterback, I don't really think there was anyone better this season.
No, I mean, I think that
Consistently, anyway, not necessarily getting all the sacks, but just getting that pressure on every play.
I think the regular season stats are almost like it's the same season, but it's almost like different in a way because the opponents will obviously be tougher. There's more on the line. There's more pressure, and I feel like the stats in the postseason are completely different.
And when his team needed him, 8 sacks in
Exactly,
4 games
that's-
is unbelievable.
It's bang on what they needed, and clearly showing
It
the
shows that the Lions again hit on their draft picks.
Yeah, it was a great draft they had this year for sure.
They've been incredible.
I was tempted to put Brian Branch in my top defensive players of the week as well, but I didn't want to have like 4 Lions in
Yeah,
there.
I know, but I think it's a credit to them that again another rookie is obviously got in the top 5 for impressive players over the week.
Yeah, credit you for branching out.
Nice.
Ooh.
Very
I
nice.
think there's going to have to be a little fine on that joke.
Yeah, it's like you know that gif of Grandpa from Simpsons walking into the bordel
Yeah.
and then just got walking back out. I think that's what we're viewing now.
You've got to do all the uploading now after this punishment.
Okay, that was 5 defense. That was 5 defenders, wasn't
true.
it?
Between us, we got 5.
Yeah. Oh, see, this is where we need like a little musical segment because now it's Reef's Roundup. Right on.
That's my little add-on.
Are you going to do that every week?
We're going to
Yeah.
record that and we're going to play it every single week.
Yeah.
If the viewers want it, I'll provide.
Not every
We'll
week.
put a poll up on Instagram, see if they want it or not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So, first of all, we've been speaking about him a fair bit. I want to talk about Mike Evans.
Yeah.
Thought he had a really solid game, really good, and obviously he's probably one of the biggest free agents in the summer.
Definitely.
First of all, I want to, if you think the Bucks should re-sign him, or if not, or if they don't re-sign him, where is your ideal
chosen destination?
Yeah,
Ideal
where do you think he
destination,
should go?
Denver.
Nice one. Not biased.
Is that
at all.
biased or?
No, I just think.
No, but I
think
feel like
it's-
every single person who supports the team in the NFL
take
would
him.
take Mike Evans.
Yeah.
100%.
maybe not Reef. Do you reckon? No. Do you reckon Evans on the Dolphins?
No, I don't think he fits the Dolphins scheme, really, does he?
Exactly.
Well,
I'm
maybe
not
take the bias out of it, and you've got to think for him as well.
for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
He's not quick enough for the Dolphins.
it depends. Like,
He won't pass the test.
he's got
If
a
you-
ring.
If you're not sub 10 seconds in 100 meters, then we don't want to.
I mean, Mike Evans has got a ring, so I don't think he's going to be one of these guys who's going. Well, I mean, obviously you'd like to go to a contender, but I don't think he's going to be someone who's chasing another ring necessarily.
No.
He's already cemented his spot in the Hall of Fame. I
Just
think.
go.
He needs some
Yeah.
bank. So
I'd say
he's got
just
cap space.
Go into your first question. Whether I think they should re-sign him, I do. This will be his 12th year, possibly.
If they don't, Baker's going to throw his toys out the pram, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I think he gives them a good chance to get back to this sort of place next year. Without him, he gives Baker such a good.
Yeah. He's
target
also just
every time.
psychologically as well, knowing that he will always be there. He's always.
He's never been a superstar. And I think
No.
that's why, when it comes to Hall of Fame debates about Mike Evans, I think that's why people say he shouldn't be in there, because he's never been the best receiver in the league.
No.
He's never gone for a 1,700 yard, 20 touchdown season, but every year you back him for 1,000 yards, you back him for 7, 8, 9, 10 touchdowns, and it's that consistency. And I personally would have him as a Hall of Famer. I think
He's got that ring to go with it as
and
well.
the ring.
The ring
Yeah.
solidifies. I think.
Yeah.
I think to do it over a 10-year period shows your class, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I think that's
If he got another ring
Fair
as well.
yeah.
In
Definitely.
terms of destinations, I don't think the Titans would be a bad place for him to go. To be honest,
No, I think really. it
We've
would
already
fit-
got a wide receiver one though in D-Hop.
True.
yeah,
I think
I
Bucks
don't
works, to be fair. Obviously, re-sign him back.
I mean,
for
the
him,
Bucks have the 8th best cap space in the league with 47.1
but who's
million.
got the best?
Commanders with 73.7.
No one wants to go there, do
no, exactly.
And then it's the Titans, then the Texans, which is crazy.
they? Yeah, that's
Texans really.
Yeah.
That could be
youth,
cool.
aren't they?
Mm.
I reckon. Although they've got.
Oh my god, I just thought of an
Tankdale.
Evans,
Nico
Tank Dell, and
Collins.
Nico Collins
That
trio.
is some
for
offense, isn't
Stroud.
Edge
I
Nico
would edge
Collins.
to that.
Oh my god.
Cut.
On the edge. On the edge of glory.
Yeah, thanks for listening, guys. Tune in next week.
Yeah, Reese no longer part of the podcast.
Yeah. No more Reese Roundup, so
Yeah, I mean, I don't think the Titans would be an awful place. I think personally, if it was me, I'd keep him on the Bucks.
what about maybe the Lions? If they wanted to obviously ring chase after,
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if you got St. Brown,
I say ring chase, like every
Gibbs.
team isn't wanting to ring chase, but
I mean, you got to remember as well. The Lions a couple years ago drafted Jameson Williams, even though knowing he was going to be out for basically his whole rookie season. He hasn't really shown anything yet of what he had in college. But if he comes back and turns it on,
it's another
then
string to their bow.
that's
innit?
another elite receiver in there.
Yeah,
So yeah, I mean, there's plenty of teams
maybe
who
the
would
Bears
take
as
Mike
well.
Evans.
Obviously, they got DJ Moore. and
Bears,
just get
Yeah.
Bears is a good shout actually.
Yeah.
Depends what they do in the draft, really.
I think depending. Oh, no, go on.
I was gonna say, where do you reckon they go in the draft? What's the
who Bears?
who Bears? Yeah, do you reckon?
I don't want to
I
spoil.
reckon we save that for another time.
Is that a whole
we,
nother
we need to
episode?
rinse the
I've got
draft.
a
to
lot.
be fair.
I've
We
got
need
a
to
lot to
rinse
say
the
on the
draft.
Bears.
We need to rinse the
in
draft.
yeah, like 10
in the off
episodes.
season we got a bit.
It'll be a
fair.
3-hour podcast if I talked about the Bears draft.
Fair.
5 hour.
I can confirm it will probably be a QB.
Do you think?
Nah, see, this is
I
we're
think-
getting into.
I'm sorry,
the
yeah,
debate now.
right, let's cut it
No,
there.
we can have a little convo.
Alright.
I
I don't
don't-
think it will be.
I don't
QB.
think it will be a QB.
It's got to be.
I would.
I think they're going to trade down purely for the fact if they even traded down like 4 spots, they could still take Marvin Harrison because I think 3 QBs are going off the spin,
My thoughts
and
exactly.
they'd get so many first
I was-
rounders for Caleb Williams.
I was about to go more in for the draft, and we'll leave it. We'll leave it for another.
I would fully agree with you though. Trade down even to 5 or 6.
because they've got the 9th pick as well, just
Really?
off the
Yeah,
back
of
of their
course.
own season.
Yeah.
Obviously, they got the Panthers
And that first overall pick is going to be like gold dust.
Yeah,
People will
100%.
this
give
year
up
as well.
tons for that.
There's loads in this year's
And
draft.
you take Marvin Harrison, you take somebody else with the ninth pick.
Yeah, I mean, if they
possibly
don't get
defensive
Marvin
end.
Harrison and Evans is still around, I think they could snap him up.
Where did you say they were in cap space?
They are. Hang on, let me get the old stats out. Ooh, ninth.
Okay.
47 million as
Okay,
well. So they've got plenty of space.
They've got a fair bit of cap space.
Yeah,
so say they got a Mike Evans, say they got a Marvin Harrison, and say they got someone else. They got a load of draft picks. They're in a good spot then. I
I
think.
mean, they got Montez Sweat as well.
Yeah.
As well. A
Yeah, true.
big piece to the
and
defense.
Justin Fields, I think, with a couple more receivers, a bit more experience under his belt,
Yeah.
give him another year.
He just needs to
I wouldn't
realise
draft a quarterback.
he's kind of like Zach Wilson. He just takes too long to throw it, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, I was just thinking about how bad Zach Wilson is, but yeah.
At least he's not Winston, you know.
I'd rather have Jameis Winston. He'll throw 50 picks, but he'll throw 50 touchdowns as well.
He'll actually throw the ball, I think.
Yeah. He'll complete a pass to somebody, whether it's the other team or not.
Go on, we've gone on a massive tangent there.
That was a massive
Is that from Mike
I
Evans?
did warn
that
you.
was from Mike
I
Evans.
did warn you about the Bears.
Yeah,
we were
yeah.
going to
He's
get
just
into
reframed
it.
it.
That's
Go on, Reece.
such a good
Go on, Reece.
topic.
Go back to your points.
Get back on your
Well,
roundup.
we
son.
didn't really nail down destinations, but it seems like
We'll go.
I'd
the Bears.
say-
we'll
I'd
go
say-
the Bears.
the Bears.
We'll go Broncos.
I'm going to argue the Chiefs if they have the cap space
That's-
because
ooh,
they've
that
been
is a good
very
point.
bad
Oh, I
at
like
wide
that.
receiver this
I like
season.
that.
That's a very good shout.
Yeah, I
because
really
they-
like
Holmes needs support.
he does. I mean, they've got
Chiefs,
Rasheed
Chiefs
Rice, but
of
other than
28.5 million. They're
Maybe-
they've got the 13th best in the league.
Maybe the Bengals.
Nah. I'd re-sign T Higgins.
Yeah,
if I was the
yeah,
if
Bengals.
you keep hold of
Yeah,
T
I
Higgins, you'll be
guess.
fine.
Yeah. But no, Chiefs is a very good shout. I like that. I
Yeah,
think he works
yeah.
well in that team.
He'd probably want to go as well.
I'd say
considering, you know,
I'd say
who
that
his
the
quarterback
three
will be.
best we've said: Chiefs, Bears, and the Texans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't mind that.
I think that would work.
Do you reckon the likelihood is that he'll re-sign with the Buccaneers though?
Yes.
I imagine so.
I think, yeah, you can see that happening, can't you?
Yeah,
he
he's
he
been
looks
there.
pretty settled there, doesn't he? He doesn't look like he's trying to force his way out of the.
No, he's always been a kind of one of the more like low key guys in terms of not like forcing a trade or
Nah.
anything like that.
Just very
Seems to get on with it, doesn't he?
Just been happy,
Yeah.
just get on with it, whack out 1,000 yards, sorted.
10 consecutive seasons he's done that.
Yeah.
Do your job, go home, come
Yeah.
back next season.
That's why I
That's what
say
you
he's a
need,
Hall of
though.
Famer.
Oh yeah, exactly.
With a sport like the NFL, well, American football,
Yeah.
with a league like the NFL, personalities are so,
Yeah,
you know, there's so many big
Everywhere,
personalities.
yeah.
Sometimes you do just need the ones that do a job and go home.
that is very true. Very true.
Well, all I'm saying is Evans is tied for 1,000 yard seasons with Randy Moss.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
that's illustrious company.
yeah. It is for sure. And then you could, yeah, like I said, you could make the argument. Obviously, Randy Moss was the best receiver in the league for a few years, and probably has a couple of rings, maybe at least one. But Evans, yeah, I think he's a lot for the Hall of Fame, if you ask me.
Who was your other? You said you had 2 pointers for the roundup.
Yeah, I've just got another one. Doesn't have to take long, but I just think, obviously, Detroit are into the next round.
Mhm.
What are their potential pathways to victory against the very strong, arguably favourites,
I think
49ers?
I think I said this last week, but it's like keeping that trifecta of Goff, Laporte, and Amon-Ra St. Brown all kind of clicking. But then you
Yeah.
kind of see Gibbs as well, and you realise it's more like a diamond, isn't it? Like
I think Goff has to play well for sure.
if he can keep his, even if he gets a pick, I think that might.
Yeah, I think he has to, limiting the turnovers for sure, because that 49ers defense is so good. I think they've got the weapons to get past that defense, but I think they just need, if they turn the ball over, they've got no chance.
And they're kind of riding this high that no one can beat them.
Do we know what the bookies think?
Yes, we do.
Oh, is that a segue?
It could be. 49ers are the favourites, 7-5. Then you got Baltimore, Kansas City.
Oh, is this for just the Super Bowl? What
Detroit.
about?
This is just pure Super Bowl to win it.
Lions are 8-1.
49ers are very fair. I guess in a world where
It's
that lack of experience.
Just the lack
Yeah.
of
It's the
experience.
brutal
yeah.
world.
you can
as well.
see the other three winning it, but you feel like Detroit might miss out. It just, I mean, you can probably also see them winning it. So 8-1's maybe not a bad shout, but yeah, it's clearly.
And I mean, Jared Goff's done it before. He's gone to the Super Bowl before.
yeah, he has to be fair.
Jared Goff needs protection.
He
Yeah.
does.
He
does.
needs protection. It's going to be one of those games where they're going to have to outscore the 49ers.
Yeah,
because the defense,
100%.
the D line is just not strong.
Yeah.
The O line is, I think, the only
Yeah.
area where you could make a case.
Yeah,
Maybe the field goal unit,
yeah,
but that's probably the only sort of aspects of the game where Detroit have the advantage.
Mm.
Like, Penei Sewell, Jonah Jackson.
yeah.
Frank Ragnow.
Yeah.
It's interesting to see what happens with his fitness situation,
yes.
because obviously he went off against the Bucks on Sunday.
I mean, he certainly, if he can play, he'll play based off last week.
He is elite.
He was,
he's one of the best signal callers in the league.
And he was pushing through what looked like a bad injury last week. So.
And I think you mentioned earlier, Aiden Hutchinson is going to have to be on top form. He's going to have
He's addictive to watch, isn't he? I think.
Yeah.
The Chiefs are 17-4. That's quite a large price for last year's
but
winners.
it's just the fact that they're facing
they are
facing the Ravens.
I think
it's anyone's this year.
I think it's very open.
It's 4 brilliant teams, I think.
100%.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen one like championship games for a while where the 4 teams have been this kind of evenly matched. I'd say.
Yeah. Looking into the future games, we've got obviously Chiefs versus Ravens. Chiefs, Ravens obviously the favourites.
Who are you taking for that game, Cal?
Who am I taking? Are we going into predictions now?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can get into our predictions.
We'll go into predictions. Yeah, right. I think that boring, but the Ravens will win. And
Is that it?
We'll go around the games then. Yeah, go on.
I thought you were going to kind of give a bit of a
How
reason.
was did anyone
Sorry, I didn't give a lot of info. Did I?
Did anyone tally up their scores for how many they got right last week?
Oh yeah, we've
I didn't.
The Texans let me down.
I got 3 out of 4. I said the Bills would beat the Chiefs.
Dylan's gonna act like he's got the big brain, but he just picked the favourites for every single one.
Well, I mean, I was right, wasn't I?
I mean, I got
Favourites
half,
for a reason, aren't they?
Yeah, exactly.
half, but they were kind of the bookies' favourites. I think I picked, what was it, 49ers and the Ravens.
You had the underdogs in a couple, didn't you?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we've touched on that curse of Fairbairn.
Yeah.
But
The Fairbairn curse.
I was 3 out of 4.
curse.
I said Green Bay. I thought Love would have done it.
Yeah.
And they were really close.
I think I might have been
Fair
3
enough.
out of 4 as well.
I changed my
I
mind on
did
Green
too.
Bay.
Did you go to Texans?
I went the Texans.
Yeah,
I went Lions.
Bills let me down for the full house.
Yeah.
Got
We
him.
need to keep a recollection of this. So Dill's 4 out of 4.
Yeah.
Ethan's 2 out of 4.
Yeah.
Reef's 3 out of 4.
Three
So is
out
Cal.
of 4.
Yeah.
Well,
So is Cal and I. Okay.
Yeah.
So obviously we got the Chiefs Ravens at the Ravens. Massive home
the
advantage,
Ravens,
I think.
yeah.
I am taking the Chiefs.
Ooh.
That's cold.
Yeah. Again, I said it last week. Until he gives me a reason not to, I'm not going to.
That's more like a drop the mic moment. You kind of end it there. Chiefs, bosh.
Yeah. I mean, Lamar has now won that playoff game, and he's shown he can do it. And maybe this season's different. Who knows? But I still just think the Chiefs they know how to win, and that's.
I might need another hour to decide, I think.
Yeah, it's one of them games that could go either way, isn't it? Really.
Yeah.
I was about to jump in and say that I agreed with Dylan, but then I've just been thinking, and I think this is like Lamar's season. You know, where just everything lines up.
Yeah.
I
but
think
the
he's-
Chiefs' pedigree is unlike no other.
I know.
If they,
I get
if they
where
get
he's
to the
coming
Super
from.
Bowl. I mean, did you see the stat? Every year that Mahomes has started, he's took them to a championship.
And
It's insane.
an interesting stat: every team who has beaten Josh Allen in the playoffs has lost the game after.
Yeah, I did see that. Yeah.
So, if history is anything to go off, then the Ravens will win. But
And I think history will show again. I think obviously I said it a minute ago, but elaborate on it. I think the Ravens will do it.
Yeah.
I think, like Reef said,
I get where Reef's coming from. It seems like Lamar can just do no wrong really at the moment.
I just feel like the Chiefs. I don't know. Obviously, they look weak, but they're not weak.
No.
Clearly,
The Chiefs
they clearly
never
show it every
No.
week.
I thought
Every
Rashee
week,
Rice.
week in, week out.
I thought Rashee Rice was pretty good.
Yeah,
Against
yeah.
the Bills.
Again, that's the story of the season. Only Rice and
The thing is,
Kelsey really.
with Kelsey and Mahomes, you're
Kadarius
not-
Tony being out saved.
Save the
saved
Bills.
Yeah. That's the thing though. It's the
Sorry,
Mahomes
Chiefs
and
even,
Kelsey.
sorry.
The Mahomes and Kelsey factor, isn't it? I mean, they've now got the most touchdowns out of a QB.
I know, but
tight
we
end.
mentioned earlier Mark Andrews back.
We
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
It's not even just QB and tight end; it's a QB and anyone.
Oh, is it QB and anyone? Sorry,
Yeah.
I thought it was. Yeah. So
Yeah.
what is it? 16
16,
beating
yeah.
Brady and Gronk, innit?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they've still got plenty of years to go as
Oh,
well.
100%. They've still got many years left. I
Yeah.
reckon. How old's Kelsey? Is he about what? 32.
34, I think.
He's
34,
I think he's
really?
35 soon. Yeah.
Really,
Well, I mean, he looks like he can keep going though.
he
doesn't
doesn't look like he's
Yes.
slowing down.
No.
So we've got one for Ravens,
Yeah.
one for Chiefs.
What are we reckoning over there, Ethan?
Reef's gone for the Ravens.
At
Reece,
this-
have you gone for the Ravens?
Yeah.
I have.
At this point, I'm going to share some great literary words with you. From
Another one.
one of Baltimore's greatest sons, Edgar Allan Poe, famous for The Raven, among other things. There is no exquisite beauty without some strangeness in the proposition. And I think that is very applicable to the Baltimore Ravens. I think
I changed strange for versatility in that quote.
I don't think he was talking about football though.
No, he's not.
I don't think he was referring to Odell's catches, no. But
in the context of the game, if you switched it for versatility, I think that's what could get him over the line.
Yeah.
I think the Ravens have just got so many weapons.
Yeah.
You going with them, are you?
I'm going with the Ravens because it would be easy to just sit here and say, "Oh, Lamar's good." Yeah, we know he's good. Don't need me to tell you that.
Yeah.
But the
defense as well.
The fact
on
that
top of
the
that.
D line is
True, the
stacked,
defense is unbelievable.
the O line is solid. The Chiefs barely got past the Bills. I mean, you're gonna have to factor that into it. The Ravens had a significantly easier game a day before.
Yeah, we
the
say they
Chiefs.
barely got past the Bills, but like the Bills were on a 7-game winning streak.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, would that have taken a lot of mental resilience out of
okay.
Kansas?
Yeah, fair enough. Good point.
Well, for Mahomes, it is going to be a bit of a Wizard of Oz case. We're not in Kansas anymore. Again.
That's a good one. Arch, who was your pick?
I'm going Chiefs as well.
Really?
Ooh.
Yes. I've lost the stat, but I saw Mahomes' last 4 games against the Ravens. He's had at least 320 yards.
Mm.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and one of them he had 5 touchdown passes.
What past Ravens teams were they, though?
Well, they would have all
pretty
been Lamar.
recent. Yeah.
Lamar-led teams.
Yeah.
They would have all been probably winning record teams, so they would have all been good teams.
I just think it's the pedigree factor. I think. I think you can't not have one of the greatest QBs ever show up in the championship.
Yeah, and bet against it.
It's just
Yeah.
inevitable, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, and that is obviously the factor behind it. Just the Mahomes factor is just that's what keeps any Chiefs game interesting. Isn't it?
Exactly. And then are we going to end it off with then Lions and 49ers predictions?
Yep, yeah.
Callum, do you want to go first?
Oof. Well, I was debating playing the undercard. Underdog.
That being the
undercard,
Lions.
Was it
Undercard, underdog, not the undercard. There aren't any other fights.
Is it?
Underdog.
I'm assuming the Lions are the underdog.
Look, yeah, massively. 49ers are 5-18, whereas the Lions are 14-5.
5-18. Wow.
5-18. They're
Nice,
really
yeah.
back. There's obviously a reason for it. The natural side of knowing how to win. I mean, I want to go the Lions, but you can't not go against 49ers. So I'm gonna have to go 49ers, but it'd be interesting to go with the Lions. But you can only see 49ers.
I'm just forgetting though about the NFL script and the colours.
That is
on
true.
the Super
That
Bowl.
is very true.
So maybe I should go for the Ravens.
Yeah.
In which case, I would have to go for the 49ers to keep the colours.
Yeah, I was going to say
consistent.
they match.
Switching.
Huh?
You
Well,
going to Ravens?
I
now?
don't
you
know.
just got to
Reek,
think about.
have you seen this? Obviously,
Yeah, I've seen
As a
this.
newer
The last 4, is it?
I think it's definitely the last two,
three.
but it could be the last 3.
No, it was the Rams Bengals was the first one.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
that was 3 years ago.
Eagles Chiefs.
Eagles, Chiefs.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and then Eagles Chiefs.
Well,
and
it
now
was
this.
2 years ago. Wasn't
Yeah,
it?
that was 2 years ago.
Yeah,
Bengals, Rams.
yeah. So third year on the trot.
But yeah, I mean, it's looking very purple and
Yeah, I
kind of reddy gold.
It is.
So maybe I'll have to change my mind. I don't know.
I'm gonna have to go 49ers.
I'd love to go with Detroit, but last week I did say that the 49ers are my favourite to win it.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna stick with them, and also I do think they will. But
yeah.
I really like the Lions story. But there's always next year.
I honestly, as a Jets fan, the Lions, well, at this point they're not relatable anymore, but they have been relatable in past in terms of how horrendous they've been for so long, and I like to see them doing well. Like, I've got nothing bad to say about the Lions. I just don't know. I'm gonna go Lions.
Ooh.
I'm going completely.
He's talking about the Super Bowl thing. He's gone completely.
I've literally gone the complete opposite of the colours.
I agree. I'm going Lions. I thought I'd keep it rather short and snappy.
I wish I could give a good reason why, but I can't choose between either team.
I went against the Niners last week, but I don't know. They've got a brilliant team, but no Debo. I think he might be unavailable, or he will be there. He just might play on second downs and stuff, just kind of tick over the offense. But
Yeah.
I just love this Lions story. What Reef said. I think it's addictive for anyone watching to not kind of want the Lions to succeed.
When was the last time they went anywhere near? That
32 years ago.
was it
wasn't
32? Yeah.
Yeah.
1992.
And they haven't won a Super Bowl, have they? In their history.
No.
Every
They can always change that though.
every other team on there has won a Super Bowl. The Lions are the only one who hasn't.
Imagine if this game was at Ford Field. Tickets would be going for about
Yeah.
five
Be gold
5,000.
dust.
Yeah. Ethan.
See, like you, my head says 49ers, but Dan Campbell
Yeah.
biting those kneecaps, taking hunks.
We did have a bit down about that actually. I don't know if we'll have enough time to cover it today, but maybe next week we can discuss that one.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, carry on.
The Lions are outmatched in every field. Honestly, they've got, as I said earlier, they've got a weak defensive line. They've got a weaker rushing line. They've got a weaker passing line.
Pressure creates diamonds, though.
It does. And
You say weaker, but I think they've still got enough.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's
firepower in
bad.
there. Yeah.
but I just think,
I think any team compared to the 49ers looks
yeah,
a bit bleak,
Yeah,
just because of how stacked their team is.
that's true.
I think we're a game of rock paper scissors. Paper beats rock, but how does paper beat rock?
That's true.
I think that the Lions could be the paper.
What's got into
Oh.
you here? You've turned into a philosopher. What is, it's a new Ethan this week.
Ethan Aristotle.
Friday morning inspiration.
Yeah, he said his comfortable pilot episode. Now he's really settling on the wisdom.
The real Ethan is coming out now.
I think they're going to get some of that Motown soul
Yeah,
into
a bit of Motown.
into 4 months.
I
Some
like-
of that grit.
I like that paper analogy though.
Yeah,
I agree
do
with it.
like it. Yeah.
I definitely agree with it. I see where you're coming from, and I obviously agree with it because I picked the Lions as well.
And
But
part of me is basically willing this to happen because it is very similar to a certain football match happening on Sunday.
I thought we said no more Newport. No more Newport.
You're going to be driving people away at this point.
Yeah.
Speaking of driving, Motor City of Detroit, of course.
Yeah. Just gonna keep dropping.
This guy
these
just
in.
keeps dropping bombshells out of nowhere.
Right, he's on
More
fire today.
bombshells than Castor Moore.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
What is
End the
going
podcast,
on? What
end
is
the
going
podcast.
on?
That was
So we've got.
dire.
So on the first game, we've got Cal taking the Ravens.
Yeah, I've taken the two favourites. I've been boring.
I'm taking the Chiefs. Dill's taking the Chiefs.
yeah.
Ethan's taking the Ravens.
I'm sorry to whoever wrote the script, but I don't see it.
There was a script.
We write our own script.
Yeah, I just
and
For
then
the
Reed's
NFL,
taking
sorry. The NFL script I meant.
I'm taking the Ravens as well.
Okay, so three for Chiefs, 2 for Ravens, and then Lions. I think Lions are the. How have we three of us? I thought I was being controversial
Thing is,
going
if
for the Lions.
If this comes off, our podcast's going to blow up because of how knowledgeable we are.
Yeah.
Slags for a sob story, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Two favourites.
We all love a story. We're
Two
like,
favourites.
Like
give
Moss.
me a big Super Bowl,
Like
please.
like
I mean, isn't the Super Bowl big anyway?
No, yeah, but I mean, as in like, give us a cracking.
story.
Oh,
Usher,
they'd all be
Usher.
cracking games. Who's performing? I haven't actually
Usher's
seen
half
that.
time.
Usher at
half-time.
halftime.
Usher.
I was going to
Who's
say,
doing pre-game?
if it was Eminem, then it was written in the
Oh.
stars.
Oh, you know, yeah.
Although he did do it 2
He
years
did
ago.
it not long ago, didn't
Yeah. What a show that was, though. By the
No.
way. That halftime show was
What
Yeah.
about last year's halftime show?
Rihanna.
Just a
Rihanna.
pregnancy
I
announcement.
thought
wasn't
the
it?
It was, wasn't it? Yeah,
the
yeah.
set was good. It's just like she was.
Mate, she's flying through the sky. I'm
Mate.
like, where's the football at?
it is only a matter of time before Taylor Swift.
Oh
is-
god.
Oh, I can't stand
Yeah,
it.
like,
Taylor Swift.
it-
The
it-
Chiefs will be in the Super Bowl next
it'll
year.
probably be in Kansas.
And you
Yeah,
won't.
the thing is,
you
it will
won't-
just turn into a Taylor Swift concert. Every fan there will be a Swiftie,
yeah.
and the tickets
and
will be
I'll
going
price
for
it
No,
out.
I don't think
£30,000.
The NFL won't care about that because I think
They're
they're
just
money
all about
grabbers.
their money.
You'll have the Super Bowl with a load of 12-year-old girls watching in the
Yeah.
stands.
Oh, imagine if.
Find me a 12-year-old with
Ju-
30 grand.
Yeah.
Yeah, true. Rich parents, innit?
So we got three for the Chiefs, 3 for the Lions, 2 for the Ravens, and 2 for the Niners.
Yeah,
Does that settle it, boys?
I think so.
Yes, sir.
Is
Yeah.
everything covered?
Yeah.
I think one day we need to do which of those team names would beat the other team name in a fight. Like realistically, that's where I'm going on. Would the number 49 beat a lion?
I'm not sure. I mean, the number 49 is kind of.
And also, we don't know
It's
what
not an object, is it?
we don't know what a chief means. What do they mean by
True.
chiefs?
Could be anything.
Tribal chief in it.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
but then a raven ain't going to do much to
Well,
a.
Rangers can
Nah.
peck his eye out.
Yeah.
Nah, they'd spear it or something.
Yeah.
Cook it over the
Yeah,
fire.
the red, yeah,
Don't know how we got onto that discussion, but
Well, yeah. What are
Yeah,
the
keep
49ers,
tuning in
yeah.
for more intellectual
This is-
debates.
with the
So-
number
Real,
49 beat a
real.
lion in a fight. There we go.
Find out next week.
Thank you
Well, we-
everyone for listening to
Chester
the
Zoo.
second episode. Obviously, if you didn't catch our first one, our pilot episode, it's already on Spotify and YouTube.
Yep. Be sure to
And-
be tuned.
Be sure, yeah.
Yeah, be sure to be
Obviously,
tuned.
you need to hear the outro for last week, but instead this week, I will just be saying thank you for listening, and obviously check out our socials as well: Instagram, Twitter, Blitz and Glam Pod,
Vine.
and
We've got to drop a random old social media in there every week.
yeah, and yeah. Thank you for listening.
Cool.
Ta-ra.
In a bit, please.